Hey, welcome to Kelowna, Canada, BC. Not in that order. I'd like to introduce this wonderful class of education students, and we are here to tell you a little bit about Canada and what we know about New Zealand. So, stay tuned.
10 things we want you to know, or we know about New Zealand. It has a large Aboriginal population.
Oh, you're made up of 2 islands. One is more densely populated than the other.
You have the Flight of the Conchords came from there.
Your national bird is the kiwi bird.
And you have a large volcano on your more densely populated island.
Your main livestock is sheep.
You're a wealthy country. It's a developed nation.
You have 4 seasons just like we do, but they're opposite.
You're surrounded by ocean.
And your main tourism is adventure tourism.
And 5 things we want you to know about Canada. 8% of our population is First Nations.
We are connected to another country, but we are not considered Americans, or called Americans.
We have 2 official languages, French and English.
Lacrosse is our national sport.
And Tim Hortons is Canadian.
And 3 social issues that we are concerned with are global warming,
Healthcare,
and poverty and homelessness.
10 things we know about New Zealand. Lord of the Rings was taped there. You guys have a diverse landscape, very green and beautiful.
Similar landscape as Canada. New Zealanders are called Kiwis by others, and your national symbol is the kiwi bird.
You speak English, but it sounds like different than Canadians. And you have 4 seasons. And
it is an island near Australia, and your country is quite well off. It's a first world country.
You have a large Aboriginal population. Oh, those were the extra things that you wrote down at the end. 5 things we want you to know about Canada. We don't all live in igloos, and we have 4 seasons.
We're very multicultural.
And we have many great animals too everywhere. Bears, for sure, deer, squirrels, raccoons, skunk, moose. There you go.
They are pretty safe as long as you leave them alone as well, and skunks actually aren't really that nice. 3 social issues we are concerned about: homelessness and poverty in Canada.
And the economy. The end.
10 things we know about New Zealand. We cut it down a little bit because we had some repeats. So there's one of the highest mountains in the world there, and it has 2 names. And there are 2 glaciers that are close to the ocean. And New Zealand is also on a fault line, and there's lots of volcanism and earthquakes.
A lot of work has been done to build relationships between the Maori people and the rest of the population, and you've had a lot of problems with introduced species. This possums was one example.
There's no snakes, and houses cost a lot, so lots of foreign investment.
And there's lots of great golf courses and good rock climbing there.
5 things we want you to know about Canada. We also have a lot of issues socially that are a result of colonialism.
We have free healthcare.
We have to drive a lot to move across the country. For example, it takes about 23 hours to drive from the north to the south of British Columbia, which is just one province of the country.
And we have 4 seasons, and it's possible to golf, rock climb, and ski all in the same day.
3 social issues. We have a lot of poverty and a widening gap between the rich and the poor.
We have lingering issues from colonialism, in particular with our relationship between European descendants and First Nations people. There's been a lot less cultural revitalization of Aboriginal peoples than in New Zealand.
And we're concerned about natural resource use, and there's a lot of tension between ecology and economy.
Come on!
The capital is Wellington.
Locals are known as Kiwis.
Lord of the Rings was filmed there.
And the native people are called Maori.
There's lots of bungee jumping.
Made up of 2 islands.
You guys have a lot of sheep and meat pies.
One of the rugby teams is the All Blacks, and they do the Maori haka.
You don't like to be considered Australians, just like we don't like to be considered Americans.
And Auckland is the biggest city.
And then 5 things we want you to know about us is we don't live in igloos. Most people live close to the US border.
Okay, and they're called toques, not beanies.
We host the next Olympics in Vancouver in 2010.
Our capital is Ottawa.
We have 2 national languages.
And the social issues that concern us are pollution and global warming.
And poverty.
And recession.
Thank you.
All right, 10 things we know about New Zealand. It's a Commonwealth country. It's a constitutional monarchy without parliament. The flag is red, white, and blue. English and Maori are the official languages. You fought alongside the British in the Boer War, World War I and II, and you fought alongside the Americans in the Korea and Vietnam Wars. New Zealand is very environmentally conscious, and most energy used is renewable. Sports are very important to you, especially rugby and the All Blacks. Obviously, you don't want to be known as Americans, as Australians, as everybody has mentioned already. Agriculture is very important to your economy, as well as tourism. And 5 things we would want you to know about Canada. Not all Canadians like Celine Dion. In fact, some of us actually hate her. Our official winter sport is hockey. Summer sport is lacrosse. We drink a lot of Tim Hortons coffee, but a lot of us also like Starbucks. It gets very warm here in the summertime, and there are no wild polar bears running around where we live, although that does happen way, way up north. We have 10 provinces and 3 territories. And 3 social issues are children's rights, which are education, food safety, the environment, and funding for post-secondary education. Go.
Bonjour et bienvenue. These are the top 10 things that we think we know about New Zealand. That there's a big wine industry, that there's no snakes, which is pretty fortunate, pretty cool. There's a big sheep population, and you export a lot of lamb to us in our restaurants. That Fiji is quite close to New Zealand, and there's a large population maybe on your rugby team, not quite sure. That New Zealand Naturals ice cream is very popular among Canadians. That there's a similar climate to BC, and that skiing and snowboarding tourism goes both ways, and a lot of us come out to New Zealand, and you guys come out to BC and ski at our mountains as well. And the 5 things we want you to know about us is that we are also part of the Commonwealth and a British colony. If you reverse the Canadian flag, it still looks the same. That we have rhyming currency, toonies and loonies. That we dye our cheddar cheese orange so people can recognize it for some reason. And our 3 social issues that we want you to know we're concerned about is our tensions in our lumber industries and the environment. That there's a lot of effort made to smooth over long-standing Indigenous relations issues, and that we are trying to come to agreements on that side, and that our environment is really important to us. And au revoir!